Welcome everybody, I have done something that not many have tried and none have ever achieved. Now bear in mind that Dave Gettleman is doing absolutely everything he can to achieve what I have achieved in this game, but it's not as easy for him because in Madden you can just do whatever you want. He's, a little bit restricted. What I have done is I have assembled the worst team in Madden. Now, this is the worst team. I won't show it too much right now. This is the worst team in terms of overall, except for quarterback, and it's the worst quarterback that's currently on a roster. And always people with actual pictures, no grey faces. That's the only times when it's not the absolute lowest rated player. And we have put them on the Giants. Now, listen, we can't make fun of the Browns anymore, at least not for a while. And yes, there are some other teams that have done worse than the Giants, but none of those teams have followed up that bad season by trading away their best player. So, I am nominating the Giants to be the new Browns. I think, to be honest, the Giants have nominated themselves to be the new Browns. They did that when they hired Pat Shurmur to be their head coach after he led the Browns to a 4-12 season as their head coach in 2011. So, here are the new Browns, the Giants, the New York Browns, and, well, we're going to take a look at the team in a second. I should mention, though, that this isn't the only reason we have selected the Giants. It's not just because of that, it's also because out of all the teams, they had the most players that ranked as the worst in their positions already on the roster. So it made sense to go with them anyway. Now, a lot of these guys were actually free agents. A lot of these guys were in practice squads and stuff like that. But let's take a look at the worst team in Madden. But are they worse than the 2018 Giants? So here we go. It all starts at quarterback with Alex Tanney, an actual Giants player, still on the Giants roster. And you could say, it's not that much isn't expected of him, but this guy's a 57 overall and he's been in the league for 7 seasons. Now at running back, the worst running back in Madden is Kenneth Farrow, a 57 overall, but it wouldn't be a collection of the worst running backs in the NFL without a white guy, so Dalton Crossan is here too. At fullback, we have Glenn Gronkowski. It's good to have a Gronkowski on the team. Unfortunately, it's the worst fullback on Madden. At wide receiver, we've got quite the collection. We've got Jonathan Krause, Isaac Whitney, Keenan Reynolds, Mario Alford, and Uzama Wachiku. Now, these receivers are obviously pretty terrible. However, they're not actually that bad. They're quite fast. They've got reasonable catching. I can only assume it's most of their route running that really lets them down. But, if they're somewhat open, which they might be able to do with their speed, they might actually catch the ball. So not a bad group. We move on to the tight ends. We've got Wes Sexton as our number 1 tight end, a great 59 overall. I believe he's not far off or potentially even lower rated than some of the long snappers in the game, which are also tight ends. Then we've got Alan Cross and Jake McGee. The left tackle, Nick Gates. Unsurprisingly, a left tackle from the Giants was already on the roster and the worst player on the game at a 59 overall. The left guard is Khalil McKenzie, the same rating. Center isn't so bad. The worst center in Madden is a 61 rated. That's not awful. Then the right guard, Darrell Green, and the right tackle, Timon Paris. Moving on to the defense, and we start with Matt Dickerson at left end, a 62 rating. Not the worst we've seen. At right end, it's Bunmi Rotimi, which I just found to be a great name. I'm not entirely sure what about it I find so funny. At defensive tackle, we've got 2 rookies, both 61 rated, both out of Georgia, both of them the worst players in the game. A left outside linebacker, Nick DeLuca, 61 rated. The inside linebackers, Thurston Armbrister and Trayvon Johnson. Both of them obviously not very good, but quite fast, we'll give them that. The right outside linebacker, the worst rated for a while now, Jordan Williams at a 58 overall. And then we move on to the cornerbacks. Demontre Wade is a 60 overall, so is, Henry Tolliver, Thierry Henry. And then we've got Chris Jones. Those guys all the same rating and also quite slow. Actually, all of these guys are quite slow. And Dominique Hatfield, the other one. And then we've got a safety at number 5 if we need him. Then our free safeties. He may not be the absolute worst free safety in the game. He does, however, have the absolute worst name in the entire world. Who calls their son Fish? His name is Fish Smithson, and he's our starting free safety. Then we've got Cameron Kelly after him, but the bad names don't stop as we move on to strong safety. This strong safety is also not the worst strong safety on the game, but he's called Prince Charles. It's Prince Charles Iwara. And that is our starting strong safety. The worst kicker in the game isn't that bad at 70 overall. Zach Hocker, of course. Yes, there's a certain man who used to play for the Bears that probably is actually the worst kicker. But statistically, from the overall, Zach Hocker is. And then the punter, Will Munday. He's also not great at a 68 overall for a punter. Then, of course, the specialist we've got sorted out. Dalton Crossing is our power back. Can't wait to see that in action. But apart from that, everything is sorted. So there it is. Hopefully, Madden won't mess with our roster too much. Obviously, I've turned everything to manual and things like that. But it still manages to find a way. We'll turn injury off because we want to give all of these terrible players a fair chance. We'll sim this season and we'll see if the worst team you could possibly assemble on Madden is gonna do better than the actual Giants of 2018. So here we are at the end of a tough season. I mean, it's nothing new to Pat Shermer, he's used to this, but let's take a look at how we have done. Now, we can already see we lost our last game of the season against the Cowboys, but again, that's nothing new. Let's see if anybody here has improved. Okay, nope. They've gotten significantly worse, which means I think we can guess we did pretty dreadfully. So, I managed to get to the schedule without seeing the final results. So let's take a look game by game. Of course, we'll see a lot of games in a chunk in a second, but we lost every single one of our preseasons, although we were relatively close in a lot of them, apart from the final one. So, let's go regular season. And, okay. I think, I mean, we can only see half the season here. Weeks 1 through 8. And we lost every single one, and some by terrible margins, such as this one. That's gotta hurt. There's multiple blowouts. However, there's a chance that we come back after the bye week and maybe win 5 games and do as well as the actual Giants. Now, to be honest, this is more of a projection of what the Giants will be like this coming season. So there's a chance they'll do just as badly because obviously the 2018 Giants still had some decent players that they didn't trade away. So 35-14, 34. We don't need to read them all out, but there is some big time losses here. The Eagles really did us in and it was at home. It's all L's. It's all L's. I've never seen that before. I don't think I've never put together the worst team on Madden, but I've never seen with bad teams it be this bad. 0 wins, 16 losses. We are now officially the new Browns. We're as bad as the Browns. Well, we're also as bad as the Lions, but the Browns did it more recently and did it for, a more sustained period of time. Alex Tanney copying the form of 2013 Eli Manning with half as many touchdowns but 10 less interceptions, 46% completion percentage. Now remember, this is just, I didn't turn up anything against these guys, it's just their raw ability and it is low. It is bad. Rushing, Kenneth Farrow got 400, he's the starting running back, and he got 402 yards. That's it. Our total rushing yards is under 600. That is incredible. I don't know why Kyle Laletta has 5 attempts for 22 yards but didn't do anything passing. But maybe, they really started, they thought, well, heck, if we've got Dalton Crossing starting at running back or playing running back, we might as well give anybody else white a chance. So 2.9 and 2.2 yards per carry, a touchdown each. At least they got some touchdowns, but that's all you can say for them. Imagine averaging 25 yards a game as the starting running back. That is great for him. Hey, look at this. Keenan Reynolds showing that all he needs is a chance to actually make a difference. The best player on the team. Keenan Reynolds, 782 yards, 5 touchdowns. For the third string receiver for the slot, I think he's the starting slot. That's a great stat line. Everybody else doing, well, actually, to be fair, split between some guys who got 1,000 receiving yards. Nobody else really doing that well, though. But Keenan Reynolds actually did pretty well. Now, we know the sack numbers and stuff aren't the best to follow in simulations, but 21 allowed by Timon Paris, maybe they're pretty accurate. Khalil McKenzie with 15. Now, taking a look at the defense, I guess somebody's got to make the tackles. That's probably why Armbrister has a lot, 122. Fish Smithson has 106 sacks. Let's see who got the most sacks. 3.5 by the inside line, but that's bad. Interceptions are just 3 interceptions on the season. At least Fish got one. That's great. Is there anything else? Forced fumbles down here. Let's see if there's even one. No, not a single one. We finished the season with 3 turnovers. Oh, hey, they've got a safety. Fantastic. Who was that? Prince Charles. Of course, Prince Charles got a safety. No touchdowns. Not a surprise. Wow. That is 3 turnovers, 1 safety, and that is it. Of course, there's a lot of tackles because you figure they've got to run through the middle or somewhere. At some point, someone's going to make a tackle. A team high 3.5 sacks for the inside linebacker. The ends and outside linebackers doing absolutely nothing. Incredible effort. So that is it. The worst team in Madden is surprisingly worse than the Giants. You know, we're not trying to beat on the Giants with this one. This is the one time when we use this team that we will refer to the actual real-life Giants. Apart from that, it will always just be, you know, they've got to be on some team, and they had more of the players on the roster, and that's how we went by it. So, you know, we're done with any, you know, bashing on the Giants. There wasn't really any bashing. More bashing on Dave Gettleman, in all honesty, and I'm sure every single Giants fan also agrees with the fact that Dave Gettleman is a waste of space. So, that is it video. If you enjoyed it, you can always hit the like button, and if you didn't, keep it to yourself. Subscribing is cool for me, and we'll let you see, obviously, when new videos are released, and you wouldn't want to miss any more of the future releases of the worst team in Madden. I may be terrible at keeping to things, but these guys I can't wait to use again.